So I'm saying we are discussing the non-routine, sorry, the special pricing, which is also part of non-routine decisions. And I want us to look for a question. And the first question is on page 161. So let's go to page 161. Page 161. There is a question of December 2001, question number 4. December, question number 4. So I'd like you to read the question on your own. Quickly read through the question on your own, then we'll deal with it. So you are through with the reading? Now, if you are through with the reading, the question is about a customer who had ordered for a machine and had paid some deposits, but by the time the machine was completed, the customer was not able to pay. So the maker or the manufacturer of the machine is now looking for someone else to buy. And they have identified someone else to buy the converted machine. So the question is asking us now to advise on what would be the minimum price to quote. So we are going to handle it like this. I'm not keen on the reading because I know that I saw my other time now. So we go to information 1. If you look at information 1, but at least you have understood what I've explained. Someone ordered for a machine, Kalipa deposits, but when it was complete, he could not pay fully the amount. So the manufacturer is looking for someone else. Now the someone else who has been identified says that he can take the machine, but with some modifications. Become you go and order for a cloth from a tailor. If someone else is to be given that cloth, obviously it has to be done some adjustments. Yeah. So information 1 says in the original machine, there were 3 types of basic materials. Type 1 could now be sold to a scrap merchant for $540. So that is the first thing that we are going to capture. Type B. Now we are told that it could be sold. The meaning of that is if you convert this machine, you will not sell this type P. So it is supposed to be recognized as lost revenue. As lost revenue. So that lost revenue of $540 is supposed to be relevant costs. So that is what we shall recognize. Because if we convert the machine, that will be lost. And number 2, type Q could be sold to a scrap merchant for 360, but it would take 120 hours of labor paid at shillings 270 per hour to put it into a suitable condition for sale. So we go to type Q. Now type Q, it is also the same argument, but this one is now something we call lost net revenue. Lost net revenue. Net means we have to subtract the additional selling cost. You can see we are told we will sell it at what? 360,000. But for you to sell it, you must convert it at a cost of 270 per hour. And this will require you to work 120 hours. 120 hours. So how much? 327,600. Type R would need to be scrapped at a cost of 108. So type R. Now this is something that you had not of disposing at a cost, but someone has expressed interest in the item. That means you will not dispose it. And if you not dispose it, that becomes a revenue. So here, the disposal costs. The disposal costs, it is a saving. It becomes a saving. It is what in economics they call the consumer surplus. Like you're traveling in a matatu and someone offers to pay your fare. Have you ever experienced that? Yes. You know why you pay your fare now? Yes. Yes. Obviously, when you had not requested them to pay for you, and when you had not expressed any inability to pay for yourself. But for their own reasons, they decide to pay for you. It feels so good. So this one becomes a saving, 108. Why it becomes a saving is because at the point of boarding the mat, you had agreed to pay or you incurred the cost. It's just like now, as we talk here now, you already have incurred the fare back home because that's already planned. So what has not come is the time to pay, but the cost is already incurred. Good. Part 2 or information 2 says the materials for the conversion are at present in stock. Remember, if materials are already in the store, the original purchase price is irrelevant. If you already have something, it is irrelevant. Just like you already have your calculator. When you are deciding whether to use it or not, you don't keep on remembering how much you paid for it because you already have it irrelevant. If not needed for the conversion, they could be used in the production of another machine in place of materials that would currently cost 684. So now your direct materials, ukiangalia huko juu, the direct materials, you are going to recognize what we call replacement costs. You are going to recognize what we call replacement costs. Because ukizitumia kwa hii machine, you will need to buy something else. And the cost is 684. 684,000. 684,000. The conversion work would be carried out in 2 departments. Department X is currently extremely busy, and it is estimated that its contribution, overheads, and profits is 2.5 for every shillings 1 of labor. So we come to direct wages. We come to direct wages, and in direct wages we have Department X. Now, Department X, we are told it is busy. It is busy. And I told you when someone is busy, they are very expensive. So, first of all, you will recognize the normal costs. You recognize the normal costs. And the normal costs, the Ibata where we are told there are 3 men who are working for 4 weeks, and every week kila mtu analipwa 27,000. So you multiply that. $324,000. Then you come and recognize what we call opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. Now, opportunity cost, we are told it is 1 bob. Is it 1 bob? 2.5 for every 1 shilling of paper. So you are going to say 2.5 times the shillings of paper. And the shillings of paper is 324,000. $810,000. The next one is Department Y. Now, Department Y, we are told, Department Y, we are told it has idle staff for organization reasons. Its labor force cannot be reduced below its present level for employees, all of whom are paid at the standard rate of 21. So when this department is idle, or when someone is idle, their cost is irrelevant. We say your value is 0. Anytime you are idle, your value is 0. That's why even the devil can afford it. There's a man that idle mind is the devil's action because it's so cheap. I told you should never allow anyone to know that you are idle. That is misused. The next is that the designs and specifications of the original machine could be sold in a neighboring country for a sum of 270,000 if the machine is scrapped. So we come to designs. So designs is also a case of lost revenue. It's also a case of lost revenue. And if it's a case of lost revenue, we have to recognize it as 270,000. 270,000. Because now we'll not be able to sell it. An additional temporary supervisor would have to be engaged for the conversion work at a cost of shillings 162,000. It is the company's normal practice to charge supervision to fixed overhead. So supervision. I told you the fixed cost, it is usually irrelevant. But if it is specific, if it is incremental, If it has come about because of that decision, it becomes relevant. So this supervisor is being employed specifically because of this job. So we are going to call it specific or marginal fixed cost. Specific fixed cost. And if it is specific, then it is a relevant cost of 162,000. 162,000. The next one is Power Limited have paid Mega Techniques an non-refundable deposit of 12%. So this deposit, we normally say it is irrelevant. It is irrelevant because it is sung, it is historical. Kama ishapita hiyo maneno tumesahau. Money once paid is not refundable. Ishalipa hiyo sahau. So what we have done, we have gone through all the additional information provided. What you need to do next is now to go back to the cost structure or the cost statement that we have been given up there for the conversion. Then you go item by item, checking whether there is any item that is supposed to be recognized and you have not. So tukianzia hapo juu kuna direct materials here at 576. That one we already have talked about it. After that, we have direct wages. So direct wages, we already sorted. Then we are beginning the variable overheads. Now, variable overheads, so far we have not mentioned them, and they are relevant costs. So what you're supposed to do, put up the same variable overheads. Variable overheads. And these variable overheads, we are told they are 20% of wages. So it will be 20% of the wages that we have. And we already have wages department X here, the 324,000. 324,000. So when you get 20% of 324,000, 64,800. After that, these are again the fixed overheads. Those ones are irrelevant. So if those ones are irrelevant, that is all. So sasa ukuje utafute toto yake hapa. You to be a minimum price. And this is the relevant cost. That's what we said yesterday. Minimum price, the relevant cost. So add it to something. You are through, eh? Okay, so the question then asks us about the assumptions that have been made. So one of the assumptions is accuracy of the figures. Accuracy of the figures, or the figures provided are accurate. The figures provided are accurate. That's the first assumption. The figures provided are accurate. Number two, the fixed costs will remain unchanged. The fixed costs will remain unchanged. The fixed costs will remain unchanged. For your own exercise, because we may not get there, I would like you to attempt this question of it's on page 32. Page 32 is a question of November 2018. November 2018, question 1B. Question 1B. November 2018, question 1B. It is based on the same concept. And if you want to know more, you can go to your notes. There is something I taught you, which is called principles of recognizing relevance of costs. Principles of recognizing relevance of costs. I gave you some 5 points of raw materials, 3 points for direct wages, and 2 points for overheads. So check your notes. These are the points that we are happy. Good. Now with that, nataka tukimbia page 147 now. Page 147. Page 147. There is a question number 3 there. So, page 147. Page 147 is a question that was tested in December 2004. December 2004. That is the paper I sat for very many years. As question 3 is on special price. Position. So nataka uzisome pole pole. I'm going to give you like 5 minutes. Then tujadiliane. Read them pole pole. Now, part 2 is to offer a service or some goods, right? And this one is supposed to do this product of the I say, but one may be unable to facilitate prosperity. So what does part 1 do? They really need these services for money. Part 1 engages another part here. Who will be about? Part 3 is a party that can be subject, and this one is an order. That within a particular time, they should be a particular action. And now we are saying that this one could be delivered or delivered. We are saying that part 2 will also have other issues. So part 2 would have engaged part 4. So that part 2, instead of receiving the payment that was brought by the at a particular time, part 2 can allow them to take their information. So that part 2 is. But this one must accept, and they must endorse. Or they would offer the grant. And then this one is in their way. Only in their way is we are through. Have you started answering? I don't receive these. What is the requirement? You are told to total contribution for each of the alternatives. So which alternatives are there? Umeona alternatives gani ngapi? Tatu. Ya kwanza ni you will work the machine. According to information one, they say NAIROBI Corporation would be interested in buying a special machine. It is what NAIROBI Corporation. Yes. So, so there is what we call the NAIROBI. Let me just call it NAIROBI. Okay? They sell to NAIROBI. Then information 3 says you convert the machine to standard model. Standard. And information 4 says you can sell the machine as it is. So those are 3 options. So how do we get contribution margin? Contribution? Yeah, selling price minus variable cost. So in this question, there is what we would call, the selling price. And the question has mentioned something to do with the discount. So you know the discount value. When you see discount, you get something we call net price. Net price. Then you less the variable cost. The variable cost, according to information 2, there is direct materials. Direct materials. There is also direct labor, it has been mentioned. Direct labor has been mentioned, which is also the same case that has been mentioned in information 3. And then information 4 is mentioning down payment, that is not a variable cost. Then there is a sales commission. There is a sales commission that is mentioned. Sales commission is mentioned in information 5. And then information 6 does not mention anything to do with the cost. Information 7 mentions variable overheads. Variable overheads. Variable overheads. Variable overheads. The others are fixed. The fixed one, we don't include them because they are not part of the information 8 has no cost. Information 9 is talking of something they are calling surcharge. Surcharge. Then information 10 and information 11, they have no costs. Yeah. And this question is similar to the one we have had, because it is a case where someone did what? And ordered for the machine, but when it was completed, again, they could not be able to pay for it. will not be able to pay for it. This is why I keep on telling you, it is important to know what is it you want. Because it is very big. But much of it is noise. It is a very simple question. Because in a contribution is price minus variable cost. So you just identify your price, your variable cost, you don't know why the examiner didn't have. So we start now recording. Tukirudi kwa information 1, inasema Farmers Limited has offered to sell the work special machine to NAIROBI Corporation as a special order for a net price of 68,400. So here, NAIROBI, they are going to buy it at 68,400 because it is mentioned as net price. That is after our sharp discount. Information 2 says that the additional identifiable cost to work the machine to specifications of NAIROBI are as follows. Direct materials 6,200,000. So kuja hapa weke 6,200,000. Direct labor is 4,200,000. 200,000. Information 3 says farmers can convert the special machine to a standard model. The standard model sells for 65,500. So your 65,500, is it the selling price or the net price? That is the selling price. You're the because you are told sales. Sales you can present participate or continuing or what? Because they to present participant. Or you are also as pure in English as your teacher. Then we are given the costs for the standard model, 2 million here, 850,000. Alafu hapa kuna 3,300,000. Then we are told farmers can sell the machine as it is, that is without modifications, for a net price of 52 million. So your net price hapa 52 million. And then the buyer offers 7 million down payment. Your haina shida. The sales commission rate on sales of standard models is 2%, while sales commission rate on special orders is 3%. All sales commissions are calculated on the net price. So what you need to know is which machine is special and which one is standard. Which machine is special and standard. So is NAIROBI a special machine? Yes or no? Yes. Where is the evidence? Information 1, eh? Good. So kama ni special, specials inapewa 3%. So give me 3% of this one. 3% of this. 3% of 68,400. 2 million. And 52,000. Standard, that is not special, it is standard. So standard wanapewa 2%. But hatuna net price. So lazima tutafute net price. Na net price tutaipata kwa information number 6, which is talking about discount. Sasa kuna kama neno kameandikwa hapo 2 out of 10 net 30. What does that mean? What does that mean? Can you interpret that to a customer who has come to the shop? Hakuna mtu kwa hii class anafanya kazi anywhere near an account office. No wonder we need to give people practical paper. Go for attachment. It simply means this. Let me not start so much. It simply means you will get 2% discount if you pay within the first 10 days. But you must not exceed 30 days. You will get 2% discount if you pay within the first 10 days. But you must not exceed 30 days. Sasa, these guys will pay immediately. So give me 2% of this. 2% of the 60 what? 62.5. 1.25 million. So when you raise it, tunatiwa 61,250,000. Sasa nitafutie 2% of this one now. 2% of year 61. $12.25. So you have your commission. Then this one, as it is it standard or special? As it is, it's nothing. Yeah? Is it standard or special? Listen, special. Where is the evidence? Good. Farmers Limited had received an order for a piece of special machine. Yes. And even in additional information number 1, they're interested in buying there. The word there means we are referring to something. Yeah? Yes. So it's special. So specials in a part 3%. So give me 3% of this. 3% of 52,000. 52 million. So 1560. Tuende kwa overheads. Overheads tunaambiwa ni what percent of labor? They are 50%. So kama ni 50%, tuanze hapa. Nipatie 50% of this, of 4.2. 2.1. Now 50% of 3.3. 1650. Then for the surcharge, they are saying a surcharge of 5% of the sales price is placed on all customer requests for minor modifications of standard models. Now, conversion of a special machine to a standard model is not minor. So you only qualify for surcharge if the modification is minor. Now this one, for NAIROBI and as it is, they have no modifications. Because they are not standard, this is special. But bado tunaambiwa converting a special to standard is not minor. So even this standard will not qualify. So none of them qualifies for surcharge. Yeah. None of them qualify. Because tunaambiwa a surcharge of 5% is placed on all customer request for minor modifications of standard models. So your 2% or 5%, it is only applying to standard. Tukifikisha hapo, si ndio? Huyu na huyu tunajua ni special. So they are not part of surcharge. So yule ako part ya surcharge ni huyu anaitwa standard. But then the question goes on to say that for you to convert a special to standard, that is not minor. So based on that, after hiyo you continue. So there is no charge, there is no surcharge for anyone. So sasa nipatie contribution. Pedro? Aha, hii ya kwanza umepata? 848. Aha. Aha. 4. So those are the contribution margins that should be earned. Now the next question is asking, what should be the counter, or rather, if NAIROBI was to make a counter offer, what is the minimum price that you should charge? The minimum price you should charge. So the minimum price should be, right now these guys are willing to pay at what? 68,400. But when they make a counter offer, they will be telling us to compose a pay. So we go down. So the question is, how low can you go? Now the how low you can go is you take this 53,848 minus 52,225. The argument goes like this. If you have several options, obviously you go for the best. If you have several options, you go for the best. So if you're the best, now that you've got the highest contribution, so this is what you go for. But who you are kilinga, we go to the next best option. So when you go to the next best option, utapoteza, because your contribution itashuka from 53 to 52. So the lowest you can accommodate this guy is up to where you will get his contribution at 52. Akizidi kukusukuma, unaachana naye, unakimbia kwa huyu wa 52. So the difference between E53 and 52 is the much we can reduce. The much we can reduce. Napata? 60? 7? 66? 770. Divo. Ebu hadi hizi uniwekea kwa
777.
Divo. Yes. Okay. Now I'm saying add hizi. $14,552. Sasa angalia hapa. In the other question, and even the one we saw yesterday, I told you the minimum price you should accept to charge a customer is equal to your relevant cost, the variable cost. So if these guys are asking for a bargain, according to that concept, our variable cost is 14. That is the minimum we should accept. But this one is used where you have no option, where you are desperate. When you are desperate, this is the one you use. There was only one person who was willing to buy the machine. That's why we just confined ourselves to the variable cost. But when you have several options, you don't go that route. You go for the next best. That's why it is always very, very important in life to ensure that you have a plan B. Mtu akona plan B anakuanga expensive. Naona huyu wa plan B, their worth is what? 66. Lakini mwenye hana plan B, they are cheap. It is always very important to have a plan B. I told you it's only in 2 areas you should not have a plan B. One is matters you are caught. Thou shalt not have any other. Number 2, if you are married, matters your spouse. Lakini kwa hivyo wengine yote, you should always have a plan what? B. Yeah. Hata CPA ukimaliza usitosheke na CPA, tafuta kitu kingine kadogo. So kwa CPA inaweza enda ikwame. Uokolewe na driving ama marketing ama kitu. Unaona? Yeah. Even where you work, don't just rely on that casino salary. Tafuta kitu kingine kasaidi haso kadogo, hata kama kanaleta 250 per day. It is still better. It is always very, very important to have a plan B. I know there are some people who tell you need to focus on one thing. While that is true, it's also true on the other side that you need to have a backup, because you never know. It's very, very important. When you have a plan B, you cannot just be mistreated. You see, ladies in this class, you are more than men. It's one of the reasons why issues of domestic violence came down, because now our wives who happens to be you people tuko shule pamoja. So hata nyinyi mko na pesa kama sisi. So mzee hawezi subua sana. Ndio. Si akikataa kulipa nyumba unaweza kulipia. Akikataa kupeleka kulipa school fees you can also pay. Yes. See, kama those days when women were not working, so you had to dance the rhythm of the man. Hata ukichapwa unasema ndio baba. Because you have no option. Yeah. But when you have an option, it is always I'll make my point. The next one. December 2013 is on page 82. Page 82. Page 82, there is a question of December 2013. Question 1B, those on special prize. So quick read through. So the guys have gotten what? An order, and they have been given 2 prizes. Here's what you have to see as special prize. Because already you have read ama utajibu tulisoma mambo ya Hanika tulisoma Hanika the other day tulisoma lakini tujibu ama utajibu okay. So using running curve, total method, we normally say y is equals to a x b plus 1. X b plus 1. B is given as the log of r, you divide by the log of 2. So this will be the log of 0.8, you divide by the logarithm of 2. Negative 0.322. So B plus 1 is minus 0.322 plus 1. Zero 0.678. Then we look for A, the time taken to make the very fast. The standard variable production cost per unit of mark is, so we are given the direct labor there of 12,000. And then they should tell us how much labor is paid for. According to information 3, the standard hourly rate is 6.4. So that tells you you should take the 12,000, you divide by 6. Due to do it, the first month, you took how many hours? 2,000 hours. Now we come to option 1. Now option 1, we need to look for X. Option 1, the workers here will do all the units. They will do all the units, and the units are 8. They are 8 because company A requires 4 units, and company B also requires 4 units. Is that okay? According to information 1, Hansel Limited has received orders from A Limited and B Limited to supply each company with 4 units. So this 8, I'm getting it as 4 plus 4. Yes. So they will do 8 units. So if they are going to do 8 units, you need to know the time that will be taken. So Y for 8 will be 2,000 multiplied by 8, you raise power 0.678. Hmm? 81? 91? You have rounded that? Okay. Hours. Then we come to option 2. Option 2, X will be 4. The reason why it will be 4 is what we are told in there, that option 2 is supply its labor force to Hansel Limited for 4 units of production, with Hansel Limited having to pay only 1.5 per labor hour to B workers. In this case, Hansel Limited need not use its labor force for producing B Limited's requirement. Under this option, B Limited offers to buy this product at 21,000. So what will happen is that these guys, they will send their workers. Watakuja kwako, you guide them, wajifanyie kazi. So we need to know how much or how many hours they will take, because unaona tumeambiwa wakikuja tutawalipa 1.5 instead of the normal 6. So Y44 will then be 2,000 multiplied by 8 raised to 4.678. Oh, sorry, I should have put 4. I think I have to have here. Be on my work to say I want to find that. So we are drawing now the income statements. And the income statement, we are going to have a column called details. And in these details, we will bring the first item as revenue. And the revenue is from A Limited and then B Limited. We are going to have 2 revenues. Then we shall say less direct materials. Direct materials costs, direct labor costs, variable overhead costs, variable overhead costs, anything else, so that will give us the net profit or net contribution. The net profits, because hakuna fixed costs. So we start with option 1. Start with option 1. So according to information 2, according to information 2, naambiwa that A Limited currently purchases this product in the market for 25,800. and is willing to pay the same price. But B has been allowed to choose one of these two. So tutakuja hapa kwa A. It is 4 units and they are paying each at 25,800. $103,200. Actually, sasa tunaweza gawa hapo. Same option 1, tunafika hapo. Tukuje kwa option 2. Option 2 will still be the same thing. It is 4 times 25,800. So we have 103,200. Let us go to B. Now B, they have been told to choose 2 options or one of these 2. Option 1, watalipa 24,750. So multiply. $99,000. But when you come to option 2, wanasema watalipa 21,000. Wanasema watalipa 21,000. 84,000. Materials, it is so materials now we are going to work with 8 at 15,000 because your kazi yote materials are the same for the 8 machines. 120,000. The same case you apply here. 120,000. 120,000. Labor is the hours zile tulikuwa tumepata y at 8. Tulikuwa tumepata 81 91 times 6 more. You are getting 81 times 6. Sawa hivyo? Okay. Lakini sasa tukikuja hapa kwa option 2, ulipata ngapi hapo chini? 119. So this one will be argued like this. For the machine A, itafanywa na wafanyikazi wetu wenye wanalipwa 6,400. Lakini kampuni for the company B, it will be done by the year workers, and we shall pay them 1.5. So what I have done here, I have factorized. I hope you understand that. I'm supposed to argue like that, or we are supposed to argue this way. These 5119 multiplied by 6. Ndio tupate mshahara ya watu wetu. Then the same hours, 51, 19 multiplied by 1.5. You put a mshahara ya wenyewe. So it's the same thing. 38, 392.5. So variable overheads, we are just given 3,000. So it is going to be 8 times 3,000. That is 24,000. And 8 times 3,000. That is 24,000. So now get the net profit. You have to aware whether it is okay. So which one is a better option? Option 1, eh? Okay. So I'm not getting any other question on special pricing. So you can revise on those ones plus the one that I gave you earlier. You can see I have like 25 minutes. Well, enough to do a question. Yeah, let's go to this one of page 172. Page 172 is a question of July 2000. Question 1. Now this question is on make or buy. Make or buy decision. Make or buy decision. So, because of the interest of time, I want to guide the reading. A processing company, Timao Company Limited, is extremely busy. It has increased its output and sales from 12,900 in the first quarter of the year to 17,300 kilograms in the second quarter. Although demand is still rising, it cannot increase its output more than an additional 5% from its existing labor force, which is now at its maximum. Data for its 4 products in second quarter were, we are given that. Now, the Kagoso company has offered to supply 2,000 of product Q at the delivered price of 90 of Timao's selling price. Timao company will then be able to produce extra of product P instead of product Q to the plant's total capacity. So state with supporting calculations whether Timao Limited should accept the offer. So what is happening is that these guys have been given an offer to choose whether they will make or they will buy the item. And what we need to know is the hours that are available. We have to do how many units can be made. We compare now with what we are going to outsource. So to start off, we are going to have workings. And number one working is the current labor hours. Current labor hours. Current labor hours. So the current labor hours, if you go to product P, you will argue like this. Naona mahali wameandika direct labor, wanasema direct labor at 60 bob per hour. P imepewa 19.6. So ukitaka kujua P iko na how many hours, it is simply 19.6 you divide by 60. Sindio? Ukitaka kujua ikitumia how many hours. Sasa utamultiply na the output zimepeanwa hapo juu times 4560. Give me the answer to 3 decimals. 1489.6. We do the same for product Q. We do the same for product Q, that it will be 13 out of 60 multiplied by 6960. 6960. 1508. We go to product R. It is 9.9. You divide by 60 times 3480. $574.2. And we do the same for product S. It is 17. You divide by 60, multiplied by 2300. 6.667. Okay. So with that, we can get the total. $42.23.467. So that is where we are now. That is the current capacity. Now the question says you cannot be able to increase beyond 5%. So we need to know maximum possible increase. Maximum possible increase. The maximum possible increase is 5% of 4223.467. Again, give me to 3 decimals. $211.373. 173. So that is the maximum we can increase by. Then we need to know hours released by outsourcing. We are told to outsource Q. Is it Q they are suggesting? Yeah, we outsource Q. So the hours that will be released are Q, 1 unit is 13 out of 16, and we are outsourcing 2,000. For that 3.33. This is where I was telling you when you decide to outsource. Like now this evening, unaweza amua kama utapika hapa kwa nyumba ama utapikia kwa hoteli. Ukikula kwa hoteli, obviously you save time, ndio? Yeah, ndio tunaita the hours released. Hiyo time utaokoa compared na kama utaenda kupika kwa nyumba. Then hiyo time umeokoa, you must know what is it utaitumia. When I was telling you like now when you are going home, ukichukua kanisani, the small Nissans, it could be faster compared na ukichukua bus kubwa. So ukifika nyumbani earlier by 20 minutes, what else will you be doing? Na hizo 20 minutes unastakuletea nini? So that's exactly what we are doing. Sasa number 4 here. Number 4 is hours to make extra piece. So here we have 2 types of hours. Kuna hii yenye tumeokoa hii 433 na hii yenye tumejiongezea. Na hiyo yenye tumejiongezea. Ngapi? 640. 0.506. Okay, so those are the hours that are now saved. So tumesema we are going to use them to do something, and that something is making extra peas. So extra peas made. Extra peas made. So the extra peas made will be obtained like this. To corner 644.506 hours. Na tunajua 1 unit of P inatuchukua 19.6 out of 60 hours. So 19.6 out of 60 hours. So we divide here, utajua how many units of P can we be able to make. So sasa hiyo utaandika just as 1972, don't round up. Yeah. Let us have analysis table. And here we are going to just bring the incrementals. Incrementals is where you just consider what is changing, what is different, instead of bringing everything. So we have details here. So we must know what are we comparing. I had said ukikimbia nyumbani using kanisani na ufike nyumbani mapema. What will you do within those extra minutes umefika mapema? And what will it give you? Tuseme for example, umelipa the kanisani can charge here. But hii bus kubwa imekucharge what? 60. So you have paid an extra what? 40. And as a result of using kanisani, umefika nyumbani 30 minutes earlier. So is that the minutes earlier? Are you going to use them to do something that will generate for you more than 40 shillings? If yes, tumia kanisani. If no, tumia bus. So that is now what we want to answer. Hizi zenye tumeokoa, those extra P's zenye tumetengeneza hizo 1972, are they going to give us something more than what we have paid to outsource? If yes, we shall outsource. If no, we will not outsource. So that's something you obviously need profit. So we will need to start with the revenue. And this revenue, we are going to consider it from two options, from two items. We have product Q and product P. Q and P. Then we less variable costs. variable cost. Now, in as far as variable cost is concerned, again, we have product Q. Now, product Q, it has two types of costs. We will have the making or the production. We will have the production. And we will have the purchase. We'll have the purchase. Then for product P, this one will only have what? Production. And then I think that is all. So we get net contribution. Those are the only items that will be there. Ni kama tu example ya sapa. Ukiamua kukula kwa hoteli this evening, you will incur cost we go there. Ukiamua kupika kwako kwa nyumba, that cost is called. So the first option is you reject the offer. Reject the offer. If you reject the offer, what will happen? The status quo will remain. So you will be left with your units of Q. And the units of Q, they are 2,000. And each one, the selling price of Q is 116.4. Do that 2 times. The second option that is available to us is you accept the offer. You accept the offer. When you accept the offer, Q will still be there. Q will still be there. So it is 2,000 multiplied by 116.4. Tuseme leo umetamani kukula ugali. Ukinunua kwa hoteli, will you eat ugali? Ukipika kwa nyumba, will you eat ugali? Yes. So ugali is present in the two options. The only difference is how the ugali has been obtained. Is how the ugali has been obtained. That's why unaona Q iko hapa kwa hoteli na iko hapa kwa nyumba. The only difference is how you have obtained it. If we have rejected the offer, we will not be able to make more of P. So P is not there. But tukikubali the offer, as in we outsource Q, tutapata time ya kutengeneza 1972 units of P. When you outsource, tutapata your time. So, and 1 unit of P is going for 162. 1 unit of P, we are selling it at 162. So that gives us how much? 464. That is as far as revenue is concerned. Tukuje hapa kwa variable costs. Nataka uende hapo kwa statement, you add those costs for Q. 13 plus 49 plus 7.4. We are only dealing with variable costs. So 13 plus 49 plus 7.4. 60? Sasa hapa, when we reject the offer, tutajitengenezea Q. So we are going to produce the 2000. Umesema 69.4 times 69.4. Hiyo ni sisi tutajitengenezea. $138. But if you have accepted the offer, Q, you will purchase. So utakuja hapa, tuseme ni 2000. And these guys are selling to us at 90% of the same price. So 0.9 of 116.4. They are selling to us at 90%. $209,520. So that is as far as Q is concerned. If you have rejected the offer, you are producing it. But if you have accepted the offer, you are purchasing. When it comes to P, P is only there if we have accepted the offer, whereby we will make 1972. I want to go back to the statement and add those costs of P. 19.6 plus 65.2 plus 8.4. $93.2. $183,790.4. So get the contribution now. From what you have gotten, what should we do? We should accept the offer. It has a higher contribution, So just write down there, accept the offer. Accept the offer. So we have. Then the question says, now the time imeisha, but maybe within the next 5 minutes. That question that we have solved, they had already guided us between P and Q. But now they are leaving it open. Now, which product should you make? Which one should you buy? So, which product should you allow people to do for you? Most of us here, we have house girls. They have. Ni kazi gani unakuachia? Zile za muhimu ama zile si za muhimu sana? Gani unataka ufanyiwe? Yeah? Are there some things you can comfortably allow her to do for you? No. Huh? Are there some things you can allow her? And are there some things you cannot allow her to do? Hata kama hauko afadhali kae. Yes. Yes. So which are those things that you cannot just allow? The ones you highly value or the ones you don't value? Yeah? Which ones? I hope you are getting me right. Yes. Or maybe I put it easy. Or maybe I should have put it easy. There are some rooms in your house. Eh? You can allow her to loiter around. Hata maybe as we speak, sahi. Kwa hiyo hizo rooms. Lakini kuna ile room unafunga. Even as we speak, maybe hata sahi bado kuna hiyo. That's what I'm saying. Things that you highly value, you want to do them by yourself. You don't give people to do for you. Tunaandika tu hivi tukiongea. It's the same reason why hata kwa functions tunakuanga na kitu inaitwa high table. Hiyo ingine wenye wanakaa kwa nyasi inaitwa kwa nani? Roll table. Ni kila nani unapeleka kwa high table? The people you hire value. Lakini hao wengine who you don't hire value, hao wanaweza kaa kwa nyasi. Na kwa high table unahakikisha they have varieties. Unaona high table kwenye inakuwa all the varieties of food kwa hiyo functions inakuwa pale. Actually in excess. Hata vijiko ziko, sahani kwa wingi, soda ziko hapo. Lakini kwa nyasi upate usipate unanawa mikono we are not even served, you have to queue. Lakini kwa high table mtu anaketi na analetewa. That's what I'm saying. Now, sasa hiyo importance in terms of the product, you measure in terms of rank. Ile hii maneno tulikuwa tunafanya. So we have product B, Q, R, S. Zaidi hiyo hatutamaliza because tulikuwa tunasoma jana something. So sasa hii maneno tunajua. There is only one unique thing that I want to introduce or to show you. Jana hapa tulikuwa tunaongelea about the hours. About the hours. And it is possible even in this question to get the hours. But you can also use shillings. Instead of hours, you can use shillings for the key factor. Such that hapa utaweka 19.6. Na hapa utaweka 13. Na hapa uweke 9.9. Na hapa uweke 17. This one being the mindset. Because so you know how to get the contribution margin. Selling price minus variable cost. Sasa hii ile contribution utapata hapa you divide by this. Then you rank. Then you are going to outsource number 1. Ile itabaki, no. You are going to outsource number 4. Ile itatoka ikiwa number 4. Hiyo ndio utapeana hizo. And then you make more of number 1. So ile product itatoka ikiwa number 1, hiyo ndio utatengeneza mingi. Ile itatoka ikiwa number 4, hiyo ndio ya outsource. So the only thing I wanted you to see is that you can also use shillings. See lazima ikuange hours. Yes. You can also use that. So we call it at that point and we pick up from there.